Great Mother speaks to us through us. And in these readings on a collective unconscious level, in the shadows she casts in each moon phase, chakra, variant God, and goddess energy, and seen from The Wizard of Oz and Dorothy's narrative, the poster child of Mama Drama Trauma, as illustrated in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, based on the 49 scenes of her journey to live MDT free. What is MDT? Mama Drama Trauma is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases when the mother is unwilling, unable, or unavailable to heal, it is my recommendation as a professional life coach to live in loving detachment. And this is what my work does. I support people in living in loving detachment. This is the most basic, most fundamental type of loving detachment, but it's useful in all phases of our life. For more information about that, you can click the information box below. And if you would like to learn more about this deck and how to work with it to develop your empathic and or intuitive abilities to live in loving detachment, check the information box below where you see how to read deck classes. Each new moon begins a new emotional healing cycle. Here we focus on MDT. Great Mother speaks to each sign about the supportive energies available to it as a collective consciousness and offers guidance for internal activation of this subtle yet powerful support. Look for your special Great Mother Speaks reading, especially for your sign's new moon, to hear how to further enhance the success of your new lunar year plans and wishes. These readings are entitled Sun in Your Moon Sign Readings. Where was the moon when you were born? This new moon, a partial solar eclipse, is on the cusp of Aquarius Pisces. The Western ego, emotion, earth-centric moon is conjunct Venus and the South Node, bringing to light Piscean tendencies to control emotions for the highest good of the group, social network, or friends, assuming one knows what that is. While the intuitive downloads from the Capricorn moon and the Sidereal cosmically correct soul astrology may be bringing up a need to finesse the current situation more to your benefit by shrewdly releasing those people-pleasing qualities unconsciously responsible for creating relationship and group dynamic problems in the first place. For instance, instead of modifying your behavior to prevent a perceived negative outcome, lighten up. Imagine yourself at peace no matter what happens instead. If this seems far-fetched, perhaps you are over-relying on the buy-in and approval of others at this time, and the energies are pointing to a need to redefine the terms of your health, wholeness, and happiness by taking full responsibility for your thoughts, decisions, and actions, dictating the terms of your experience of this birthright. This is what this partial solar eclipse is all about. This Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, new moon energy is dealing with whatever remaining internal MDT issues came up for release during the lunar eclipse, this past full moon reading. They are now externally shining their light in the Aquarius sun and spilling over into your life in ways you are now more equipped to address. Great Mother's lunar south node energies at the Aquarius cusp and in K2, the sidereal south node conjunct Capricorn, gives us poise, grace, and the ability to admit and articulate our most sincere wants and needs to ourselves and others in practical yet loving ways. Because a partial solar eclipse, Great Mother Moon, does not totally eclipse the sun's shadows will not be felt as intensely. Great Father expressed as physical action and material life, the law, the logos, the word, in the masculine sign of Aquarius will be powerfully felt with Mercury's solar conjunction in Aquarius in both the Western and Sidereal astrology, emphasizing the abundance of support available to us all for graciousness, beautiful, and loving communication exchanges. Great Mother is subtle, unseen. She is, in fact, the comforter, the Holy Spirit the Christ spoke of, that still small voice, our intuition, knowing what we know we know. Of course, emotions is how the ego communicates to its higher self, and intuition is how the soul communicates to the ego. Great Mother is the moon, especially this new moon version of the sun and the moon in the same sign, when she is embracing the earth in the blackness of her bosom. To reduce her to only mere emotion is to not recognize her sheer energy of uncontrollable freedom, darkness, and mystery she is within us. That still unfamiliar, little understood, or even known birthright of happiness, wholeness, and health we intuitively cling to, and why we are here to hear from her through the signs and symbols of this birth moon reading. Hello, Gemini, Cancer Moon people. Welcome to your Great Mother Speaks February New Moon reading. Wow, astrology really, truly is the study of spirit come into form, and your spirit came into form with an emotional frequency of soul energies in Gemini. That's sidereal astrology. And in the Western, an emotional frequency of Cancer. So for you, this new moon is about 8th and 9th house energies. It's about 7th house energies as well. You have Saturn in your 7th house, which is in Capricorn. And that's important because a partial solar eclipse is when Great Mother wants us to look at remnants of shadows left over from total lunar eclipses, which is what we had the last full moon. And so it might be useful for you to kind of check that out if you haven't looked at that, to see what energies were coming up for you to release. Of course, the video about lunar totality is going to give you detail about this eclipse season. And eclipse seasons are important to us because they tell us about our collective evolution. Okay, they're based on the north and the south nodes. Each of us have our own individual north and south node patterning in our natal charts. And they're different, again, in the sidereal and in the western. This creates a vibrational frequency that's very unique to each of us. So on a planetary level, when we're all experiencing Leo North Node in the western, and we're all experiencing Cancer North Node, Capricorn South Node, and the sidereal, we are sharing on a planetary level a kind of soul evolution that's very imperative to this lifetime at this specific time. And so what Saturn does is it helps us to focus on what that is uniquely for us, and for you that's 7th house energies. That has to do with formal contracts, either marriage, divorce, business, or business dissolution contracts. And I don't know why she led me to open with that for you, because this Aquarius Pisces moon is in your 8th house, which is regeneration. That's why. You have rebirth energies going on here, Gemini, Cancer Moon people, and regeneration, rebirth energies. And so the focus is looking at how you are going to create new formal relationships with people, being very clear about how you do that based on your rebirth that is currently overway. So you're approaching this new moon with an energy of awakening. You are awakening to a new way of seeing the world. You are awakening to a new way of being in the world. Really, a new way of seeing yourself. And maybe you're not there yet. Maybe somebody is asking you, who are you? Or who do you think you are? You know, with regard to your rebirth. Maybe that hasn't come to your conscious awareness yet, which is why these moon readings from Great Mother speaking to us are so useful, because everything is spirit before it's informed. Everything is inspired before it is acted upon. And so this is the realm in which these readings exist, these subtle energies. And so you are awakening to this question being asked of you, and it's being asked of you to project onto you an awareness that you are changing. You are undergoing a rebirth. Saturn is looking at his watch. You know, the great father time, Saturn, the great teacher, is looking at his watch, and he's reminding you why you incarnated, what you're doing, and to get to it if you haven't started. And so on a gut level, you are sensing this. You're approaching the new moon with some desire to be manifested, not in terms of it being crystal clear again. You know, this is something that you're awakening to. You're just kind of waking up to being asked, you know, who are you now? You know, you've been someone else. You've had a different perspective on life. This is the scene in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy emerges from the farmhouse in the Twister dream into Munchkin Land, and the ball descends down from the mountains, the purple ball, and out comes Great Mother in the form of Glinda the Good Witch, asking Dorothy, the Munchkins want to know, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And she says, I'm not a witch at all. I'm Dorothy from Kansas. This is what you're doing right now, Gemini, Cancer Moon people. You are, hey, you know what? Waking up from what? I mean, you know, what? Huh? Regeneration, what? Huh? You know, and so that's how you're approaching this new moon. The transformational opportunity is the law of ego form and manifestation. All of the law cards are Great Father cards. Great Father is the law, the logos, the word, physical materialization of the spirit. Again, astrology is the study of spirit come into form. And so we look at this back and forth as yin and yang. And so all yin yang cards are Great Father law cards. This is the law of ego form and manifestation. It is a third eye card. It's called the Ankh card. The actual Ankh symbolizes the second chakra in this deck, but the actual law card of the Ankh, the breath of life, is a double yin, single yang card. This has to do with downloading from the soul, from your Gemini, unless your sidereal is also Cancer, which means that you would want to look at the Leo video to see which one resonates with you the most, this one or Leo. Most of you will be Gemini moon in the sidereal, which means that the Gemini soul energy from the 8th house is coming from Capricorn. The moon is in Capricorn right now in the sidereal, and it's in the nakshatra of Shravana. This nakshatra is an eloquent speaker, a graceful dancer. It's a humanitarian, a very pious, shrewd energy. What does this have to do with the law of ego form and manifestation? Hey, with all that, you can manifest anything you want. And the transformational opportunity is to work with these energies, Gemini, Cancer, Moon, in such a way that you awaken to who you are. It took Dorothy an entire journey, as it will take you this lunar cycle, to discover whether she was a good witch or a bad witch. She was more than Dorothy from Kansas, is what the Munchkins knew right away. And being short, half her size, that is gut chakra energy. It's the gut. It's you know, coming up at the gut. You know, it's knowing from the gut. And The connection between the gut and the third eye is instinct and intuition. That's ego-soul alignment, which is obtained by listening to your intuition, receiving Great Mother download double yin, and acting upon it. Okay, that's ego form and manifestation, manifesting soul purpose. So this is the third quarter moon card, and so that's releasing, letting go, forgiving anything in your life that's preventing or blocking you from doing that. Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook the need to acknowledge any form of abandonment or abuse that you might be experiencing at this time. The reason Dorothy had to go on the journey is because she had to take her power back from the abandonment and abuse she was experiencing at home. And what was that? It was that Toto, who symbolizes her intuition, was being taken away. Our intuition is how our soul communicates to us. That's why she never would give Toto up. That's why she ran away. She was like, forget this. I'm not giving up my intuition. And so the emotions is how the ego communicates to the soul. Great Mother does not want you to overlook that you have some emotions around abandonment and abuse that need to be acknowledged. That's what her journey was about. And this is what your journey, this lunar cycle, is going to be about. And she's encouraging you to really get down to the business of this double yin energy, which is coming up, and the law card of the Dagda. That is the double yin card. The law of Divine Mother. Listening to that intuitive information, really paying attention to it. If Dorothy had been tuned into it then, which she wasn't, she was just meeting Great Mother. As some of you watching this may be your first time that you're actually meeting Great Mother. She didn't know who she was. Only mother she knew was the mother who orphaned her, Aunt M, who was her surrogate mother, her adoptive mother. And she was singing to her mother in the sky. I guess her mother was dead, somewhere over the rainbow, talking about a lullaby that she remembered. About birds flying, why can't I? And that's why we look at the cosmos. She was singing to the sky, the mirror of our soul. Great Mother saying, listen to your soul. Listen to that Capricorn Shravana energy. You do have the eloquence. Gemini, come on. Gemini moon on the soul level. You're a consummate communicator. You are tremendously eloquent. When you speak what you truly feel, you gain the respect and adoration of people. You're extremely shrewd about your word choice. Listen to that. Listen to that. Let go of anything that's preventing you from bringing your words and your insights about who you truly are into manifestation. Some of the shadow energy that is preventing you from doing this is the fact that right now, during this new moon phase, this is a new moon gut chakra card. The gut chakra cards are all about the scenes of Munchkin Land. This is the scene, actually, Durga, when she emerges from the farmhouse, from the Twister dream, into Munchkin Land. She crosses the threshold. That's a boundary. From the farmhouse into Munchkin Land. That's what you're doing. And that is kind of in your peripheral vision. You, again, might not be aware of exactly the gravitas of the transitioning occurring in your life at this time. Again, that 8th house energy of this moon. It's Aquarius Pisces energy, and so Aquarius is in the south node, and so that is the collective release of Aquarian energies that no longer serve you. And those would be people-pleasing energies. Those would be eccentric energies that keep you from clearly communicating what those boundaries may be. Perhaps with other people, it needs to be made clear what is okay for you and what is not okay for you. That's all boundaries are. Great Mother wants you to define, establish, and maintain healthy boundaries for yourself. That's a shadow, maybe something you're not aware of or that you don't want to acknowledge needs to occur. How you're dancing with this shadow is by receiving messages. You are receiving messages in your dream state. This is Adi Shakti. This is the second chakra. Again, that Ankh symbol. The second chakra is all about our personal desires, and you are desiring connection, and you indeed, as a result, are receiving messages in the dream state. This is the scene in the film of the Twister dream. Dorothy is dreaming as the house is going up in the tornado, and you might in some respects perceive on an internal unconscious level the transformation that you're undergoing. Of course, your soul is very much aware you're undergoing a transformation, and on a soul level it may feel like a twister, but you are downloading the necessary information for you to release those Aquarian qualities that no longer serve you on an emotional level, in order to integrate Leo energies of self-expression that do serve you. Remember, the sun is also in Aquarius, and so this 9th and 8th house energy is in the 9th house from your sidereal, has to do with you being able to actually implement a new way of life in a way that truly expresses, who you are. And so that's on a soul level. And so you are intuiting what that is and what that is about from the 8th house of Aquarius in your emotional Cancer moon sign. And that's probably where the difficulty is for you. That's probably where this resistance is for you, is that you are getting these downloads, and it may seem to be indecipherable or difficult. So Great Mother is saying self-compassion is what's called for at this time. Be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to be befriended by others. You are not a judgmental person whatsoever. And you are able to attract people to support you. And therefore, allow that to happen. Allow yourself to get what you need. It seems to me like, because you have this Saturn in the 7th house that she wanted to open up with you about, and the sun in your 8th house, it may be you're being asked to just act on faith. You're just waking up to really what's being asked of you on a soul level, and you're acknowledging it, but it's hard. It's really hard, whatever this is. And yeah, there's a shadow of boundaries needing to be established, or crossing into new boundaries, into new horizons, because it's almost like you're going from darkness to darkness. You're going from not really knowing who you are anymore to then having to just trust that this inner knowing that you've had since you were a child. You've had it for a long time, and this is the season for what you have always known to come forward. What you have always known yourself to be, who you have always known yourself to be. It's the season for it to come forward, and it's hard, it's really a leap of faith. But that's why, to facilitate this transformation, the angels are with you. The angels are with you. You have the angel card. I think this is the first time it's shown up in a reading so far. Gemini, Cancer moon people, the angels are with you. And so the angels, they assist us to live in loving detachment. They are mainly concerned with our soul evolution, to be frank. And they do intervene in our lives to give us comfort. They are dispatched to make sure that we do understand that we are divine children of Great Mother, Father, God. But we have to be in tune with that frequency to really understand it. Otherwise, because we kind of have a religiosity of dictating our wants and needs, and if they're not dictated, we don't feel loved. We really don't understand the angelic realm. But the angelic realm, their purpose truly is to support the soul purpose for being here. And as long as that requires us being alive, we will be alive to do it. And when we're no longer, necessary, of course, we're yet another skull in the ground. But they assist us to live in loving detachment. The loving detachment is all about accepting things as they are. You need to accept this. Accept what you have always known to be true, and it's time to act on it. You didn't feel that it was time to act on it before. And you're right, the timing wasn't there before. And I'm trying to assess why the time is right now. It's an Aquarius Pisces cusp, and so it's a release of Aquarius energy. On a soul level, it's Capricorn. This Pisces is in the 9th house. But see, Pisces is also conjunct Venus right now. And so that probably has a lot to do with it too, because Venus is going to make you feel the love of the angels. It's going to allow you to be more accepting of what is. And Pisces energy in its highest expression is very accepting, is very trusting of what is very spiritually aware, and very healing. And the nakshatra that Venus is in the Sidereal is Shabisha, which is extremely healing. The moniker is 100 Doctors. And so that's probably the cosmic calculus of this. Okay, it's kind of shaping up to why this would be the time for you. It's gonna, because you don't have any resistance. You don't have any resistance except for the resistance that's in your mind. There's actually no energetic resistance to you manifesting who you know yourself to be, except for activating this knowledge, this internal knowledge during this lunar cycle with faith will create an outcome of you being able to face any challenges that you perceive, any obstacles that you perceive. The self-inquiry card is all about stopping doubts, judgments, and condemnation at the door and saying, hey, look, you're not going to come in here and just sit on my couch. What do you want? Why are you here? And is it true? What are you trying to sell? It's that kind of that's what self-inquiry is. Self-inquiry is when we get into the illusion beyond this, into this veil of this material life, this kaleidoscope, this holographic field that allows us to have this physical experience, and we get too deep into it to the degree that we forget that we are divine gods and goddesses, children of the great Mother, Father, God, who are dearly loved, never judged or condemned or left alone. Angels are always with us, our guides and our ancestors. This comes into play. When we get too deep in the illusion, it's self-inquiry. Check on ourselves before we wreck ourselves with the illusion that we are not dearly loved, never judged and condemned, and never left alone. Children of the great Mother, Father, God. You will be able to stare those types of judgments down and be like, what? Now what? Now what? Now what? And so that is why the timing is so auspicious for you, Gemini, Cancer, Moon people. You are able to actually implement what you know, and you're just awakening to that. This is Crescent Moon as this lunar season begins, and it comes to an end with the balsamic moon. You will be empowered to fully live it as you work with these supportive energies Great Mother has shared with you today in this reading. Thank you so much for listening to her and for considering what it is she has to say and speaking into the life of your collective celestial consciousness. Thank you so much again, and above all and most of all, just remember that she loves you dearly, and I do too.